Shalom, shalom. You highly welcome my brothers and sisters out there. I'm glad that you just clicked to watch this message. Today, I'm going to be talking about something that is very important, and that is in regards to the journey of a people who are called the children of Israel and the connection of the children of Israel to the place where they are being located and how they were being taken from the place where they fled to into the place which is known today as America. You need to be able to understand something, my brothers and sisters out there, because the Bible makes us to understand something which a lot of people are ignoring, and that is the footprints, the history, the message that was being laid down already, that was already being revealed in the scripture for a certain people. So many people read the Bible and they read it in terms of thinking that the people whom the Bible was being written for are people who are fictional, people who do not exist. So they tend to see it as something that is a fiction or something that is not a reality, or they are not taking their time to be able to really understand the mystery that is really being spoken of in the scripture, that actually the things which were being written in the Bible are speaking about different everything that is happening in the world today. It's already been written in the Bible. You only need somebody who can be able to help you, help you, guide you through, in order for him, through the Ruach, to be able to reveal the secrets of the things which has already been taking place. It's just like, what we have been talking about in regards to our brothers, our sisters, those who have been taken, in the slave ship, or those who fled from the place which they know today, which they call the Middle East, or maybe literally, they were being taken there, or they fled from that particular place, because we can be able to trace a lot of history based on the things which we have been recorded in the scripture, the history about a people who used to be that particular place, because Bible make it very clear how they fled, what made them to live there, and how they did their journey towards the place where they found themselves. It's just like, for example, now a lot of people are seeing the wars that is going on, or things which is happening between Iran and Israel, or Persia and Israel, or the land of Elam and Israel. I mean, talk about the Israelis, the land which the Levant, the land of the Israelis, where the Israelis are occupying today. A lot of people see the wars that is going between those people, between the Persians, the Medes, the Persians, and the Israelis, but they cannot relate that to the reality of what already has been written in the scripture. You don't know the reason why Iran is already supporting Houthis. You don't know the reason why they are supporting the people from Hamas. You don't know why they are supporting people from Gaza. You don't know why they have their own people whom they are sponsoring, for example, against the Israelis. You don't know why all these things. You don't know that these are already being written in the scripture, which you can clearly see. For example, now talking about, during the time that the king of Assyria brought people in order to establish them in a certain place in the place which they call Israel today. But before they established themselves over there were people who were there who were being taken out from those particular places, and those people scattered. This is where you see the creation, or where people talk about, people who built South America. The people who were there originally before the king of Assyria uprooted them, a lot of them went into a place which is today known as what, South America. But some of you don't understand that. You think that what is happening when you hear about the Bible, oh, it's like, something that does not exist or whatsoever. I want to be able to give you an insight so that you can be able to really think different when it comes to the knowledge and the secrets of things which has already been written about the Bible, and the knowledge that is already been coded there. So now what I'm trying to be able to make you understand is that when you see the Israelis today fighting over, with the Iranians, it is not today that this particular fight or these things have accumulated. No, there is something that is ancient attached to it. And this is the reason why I'm telling you about the thing that happened with the king of Assyria. The king of Assyria was somebody who took people from different walks of life, from different places. He brought people from Katvim, from Hamath, from Savina, from different places are around those particular area to form the place which a lot of people today call the land of Palestine or the state of Palestine, or you can be able to call them, whatever name that you want to call them. He planted them there because before the establishment of the state of Israel. Now, this is what you need to be able to understand. Now, before the establishment of the state of Israel, the places where these particular Palestinians were staying, or the places where these people were staying, was desolate as a result of a people who used to be there, but they fled up. They fled. When the king of Assyria was after them, they had to run. So when they ran, what happened is that some of them were being caught and were being taken into the land of Elam, which is Iran. Some of them were being taken into the land of Elam, and they dwelt there for some time. They could not stay there because the mode of operandi, that is literally the way these people worship, are different from the way that these people who were fleeing the persecution of what is it called? The Assyrian king, his furiousness. As they were fleeing, they had to run from them. So now what happened is that they went to a place which is in Persia to be able to establish themselves in this other side of the place. But at a time comes, these people could no longer continue staying there. Because why? The way that these people worship their gods are different. This is the reason why they had to be able to do what? To look further for places to migrate. So now that the place was desolate, or literally nobody was occupying that particular place, because these people who used to be there have now fled. So what happened? This is why I tell you that the people who originally used to be there, talking about the northern part of the kingdom now. I'm not talking about the side which is called the southern part now. The place where they talk about the land of the Palestinians, people who are claiming that the land of the place where the Israelis are belongs to the land of the Palestinians. You don't know history. You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to the knowledge of the scripture. So what happened is that the moment that these people were being taken, literally I'm talking about the people who used to be there before the king of Assyria brought people from Havim, from Katvim, from Savi, from Hamath, from all this region to be able to plant them there. The people who used to be there before these people have already fled. And where did they fled to? This is where you see people when you talk about the South Americans, you see the people building a pyramid similar to that of in Egypt. You need to be able to understand. So now, after those particular run, there were people also who were already fled into the land of Elam, who were being taken captivity by the king of Assyria. Some of which they went to the land of Elam. And when they went to the land of Elam, which is Iran today, they established themselves. They tried to stay there. But it wasn't easy for them because they could not be able to adapt to the way of life of those idolatry, the way that these people worship idols and stuff, talking about the people in Iran. So a lot of them now decided to start moving outwards. Now we're talking about the people who are going towards the place, who are talking about saying that the land of the Palestinians belongs to the Palestinians or what have you. Now we come about to the southern kingdom. We're talking about the Israelis. Now we talk about the southern side of the Judea. You need to be able to understand what is going on. When you see Jerusalem, remember and understand what I'm telling you. The establishment of the state of Israel, this modern day state of in 1948 that was being created in 1940, is a totally different something in regards to something that has happened previously. So, and the knowledge of those things which has happened before is being embedded, is being known by the Israelis. It's being known by the Egyptians. They know the history of what is going on over there. They know the reason why Israel and Palestine can never be at peace. Because you know why? Israel knows the secret of how the Palestinians were being established there. And the Palestinians knows exactly how the Israelis were being planted there. The same way that the Palestinians were being planted is equally the same way that the Israelis were being planted. The Palestinians were a collection of people from the Middle Eastern region to be established and be used as the land of the Palestinians. And likewise, the Israelis are a collection of people from Russia, Germany, America, Argentina, what have you, collectively. The same thing that they did is the same thing these people are doing. It's exactly the same thing. So they call them the chosen, isn't it? But you need to be able to understand that there is something much more deeper. People do not understand that when they are doing something, that within those actions that you are doing, that there is a prophecy that you are actually fulfilling. So you try to be able to go from different countries. You go to Germany, you go to Hungary, you go to Russia, you go to Ukraine, you go different countries, right? Argentina, you call them England, bring all the people, gather them, and then establish the state of Israel. But there are people who are controlling that state of Israel, isn't it? And those people who are controlling, who are running that state of Israel, there are people who also allow them to play those roles which they are playing. You need to be able to understand what is going on. So the state of Israel is exactly being established the same way that the state of Palestine was being established under the king of Assyria. But you need to be able to know the history of what transpired before the establishment of these both nations. And what is it that transpired? What is it that happened before the establishment of these particular nations? Because this is the reason why I'm telling you that there are people who have a knowledge of these things, and they are the ones who are actually allowed the people who are called the Israelis to be doing whatsoever which they are doing, because they know that the Israelis are working on behalf of their children. But some of you don't understand the magnitude of what is going on. Before this particular time, what does the Bible tell you people? Which a lot of people, do not really understand what the Bible was saying. When the Bible said that when you see Jerusalem being encompassed by army, let him who is in Judea flee. That was during the time of the exodus of the people who were in the southern kingdom. Because the Romans were going to come. And before the coming of the Romans, who is going, where are they going to run to? They are going to run into different places in the inner land. The same way that these people who were in the land of the Palestinians, which was being created by the king of Assyria, fled towards the land of Elam. This is equally the same way that the people who were in the Phoenician land of the Canaanite, as was being instructed by their master, that when you see Jerusalem being encompassed by army, let him who is in Judea, let him flee, run away, because this is the time of vengeance. The Romans are coming to desolate, to keep that particular place desolate. Where? The southern kingdom. You don't understand what is going on. The southern kingdom is going to be kept desolate. But in this midst of this desolation, somebody is going to be used as an instrument to establish that state, and which is the state of Israel. And that person that is being used to establish the state of Israel, those people, the main core people who are running those, are chosen of the Almighty. Because remember, the land of Canaan, the Phoenician land of the Canaanite, was being promised to who? To Jacob, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So since they are there, they are equally fulfilling a prophecy which was being spoken to the children of Japhet, which a lot of you don't understand what is going on. The children of Japhet, the Bible says that what? That he is going to dwell in the tent of Shem. Talking about Japhet. Japhet is going to dwell in the tent of Shem. Who is the chosen of Japhet? The same way that Jacob is the chosen of Abraham. Shem is the chosen. When you check about the whole chosen of each one, and we have Shem, among the bloodline of Shem, Abraham is the chosen of Shem, isn't it? So who is the chosen of Japhet? The Ashkenaz. And what is it that is going to be their role? The promise that was being spoken about, that talking about the Ashkenazim, that they are going to dwell in the tent of Shem. And what is that tent of Shem? The land of Canaan. And what are they doing? Who are the people who are responsible for running that particular place? So you think that they don't know how the state of Palestine was being established? And some of you will see, and you'll be trying to say that's the servant who is doing his work, the work that he's doing, that he's going out of hand. Don't you understand the magnitude of a kind of mindset that has to be instituted in order for some certain things to be followed? You don't understand. So what I'm trying to be able to make you understand is that you need to be able to understand that there is a prophecy which has already been spoken out for a people. Now, and those things were being mapped out, were being written, how these prophecies are going to be able to be materialized. These people, before they are coming, it was already being spoken that the promise of Abraham is going to be with Jacob. But now Jacob is on exile, which is the promise of Abraham is with Jacob, but Jacob is on exile. Now, do you think that Jacob is going to just fold his arms from where he is and then leave the land which was being promised to his ancestors, and then it's just going to go like that? No, this is not how it plays. This is not how things work. So what do you think that Jacob did? Jacob had to be able to hire workers. Jacob had to be able to indoctrinate machineries. You think that machineries are something that has started today? You think that things that has to do with, do you know why the Israelis in intelligence are one of the best in the world? You don't understand. Somebody hired machineries in the whole entire universe that you're seeing before they came into this particular dimension of the knowledge of what is going on. Somebody already went to the Caspian Sea and indoctrinated this set of people. And after indoctrinated them, they impacted a certain knowledge into the heart of these people. They impacted a certain knowledge into the heart of these people to the extent that they gave them a mindset that is completely dark. And that mindset was actually fit for the world which was to be established, which was from the left-hand side. And this is the reason why you don't know why, when you hear about the Talmud, some certain things which were being written there, some people cannot comprehend it. Somebody wrote it, somebody used that as an instrument to indoctrinate the establishment of what you know today as the state of Israel. But you don't know what we're talking about, right? So they used that as an instrument. They used the Torah as an instrument to indoctrinate people, which created what you know today as the Talmud. You don't understand, right? So some people, we are being given the word, whereas some people, we are being given the law. Some people who have the law have to be able to go and indoctrinate a certain people in order to use them as an instrument to secure the land while the children of those promised children are in captivity. You don't understand the magnitude of what is going on, right? So while they are working on your behalf, while you are asleep, while you are on exile, you got to give them the credit that is assigned, that is deserved, that they deserved. And what is that credit? They can do what the hell they want to, as long as it is all about securing that particular place they want, where they want. There is nothing that is going to, they are above. Do you hear what they talk about when you hear about people? You hear some people, they talk about nations which are above your own common law. These people are not following your own laws. They have a different standard of way of indoctrination which is propelling them. Ain't nothing that has to do with your law that they are following. What am I trying to make you understand? Well, I'm trying to make you understand, my brothers and sisters out there, that there are things which were being set up in order for you, even why before you were born here. Now, let me give you something. Let me tell you something. Before you were even born, which tribe, where you're going to be born, where your spirit is going to land, manifest, uproot, germinate, which continent, these things have all been predetermined. And what is the purpose of it? The purpose of it is for the spirit which are going to be manifesting, because you are a spirit from eternity manifesting into the physical to continue the journey for eternity. Now, what I'm trying to be able to make you understand is that this is a set up mark. This is an on your mark. On your mark, that is to say you are running a race. You came and then you find yourself in this time in space. Some people are already on their journey towards their spiritual journey. Literally say that they have been going through their wilderness. They have to be born, reborn. Literally what I mean by reborn is that they came here. On their journey, the time that they came out from, it is now time that they were being born in, talk about in Egypt. So they got to experience and monitor what is going on in the world, which time that they were in. But there were people who were being sent here primarily. They came to uphold that promise which was being given to a certain people while those people are asleep. A lot of you people are on exile. You don't even know your left from your right. You don't know your left from right, but somebody is working on your behalf, trying to be able to secure places, trying to be able to secure you while you are asleep, trying to defend who you truly is while you are asleep. But because you are still blind, you are still dozing, you are still asleep, you cannot see it. Now, what happened during the time of when Yahushua said that when you see Jerusalem be encompassed by I'm letting it drawn away? This was the movement, this was the exodus of a people. So after they ran away, the place became desolate. The place became empty. A people had to be brought in, which was after that particular word of Yahushua. It was paving a way for the establishment, because that place has to be desolate because the people fled. So therefore the southern kingdom have to be desolate, so that it is now a preparation to be able to now establish these people who are called the state of Israel. They are doing the work. They are doing a these people, you got to be grateful that these people are doing the work that they are doing there. You don't understand what is going on. So the people who fled, they went on exile. Some went into the land of Kemet. From Kemet, some went to Sudan. This is the journey under the leadership of Assassini. But a lot of you don't understand. They went from that particular place. They went all the way into the place which the Romans, the same Romans, identified the location of the people who fled under when they were trying to get hold of these people, but these people have fled. They tried to locate where these people went in majority, which is why you hear them, they mapped a lot of spaces in the 15th century map. They called it Negroland, because this was where the Negroes fled. So they use this as an identification purpose in order to do what? To identify the place where these Negroes then went while they were trying to be able to get them. So after they have mapped out, they call them Negroland, where they are going to trace them, where they are going to easily get them, because this is another time, this is another work that they are passing to another generation, which is going to finish up the work which they have started. So the people who are the sons who fled into the continent of Africa, being termed or being marked as Negroes, they knew that the Romans were still going to come. Do you people really think that these people were fools? Following the warnings which was being given to them by their master, they knew that the Romans were going to come. So what do you think that they did? So they were moving all the way till they get to find the sea, till they find ocean in the country, because they were moving into land and they were moving in search until they hit the ocean. So some of which hit the ocean in the west coast of Africa, and from there they took a journey and continued their movement. Some who did not continue the movement were being caught, fulfilling what was being written in the book of Deuteronomy. And your enemy, which thou knowest not, they are going to take you in ship. And your enemies, they are going to take you. And that particular taking is that they are going to transport you in ship. But before they even dared to take you under captivity into the slave ship to the new country, some of you have already fled on your own to be able to establish the new world. You don't know what we know. You have already run. Some of you have already left the shores of the continent of Africa to be able to establish yourself in where they call the Americas. What was chasing you? What was chasing you was simply an obedience to the word that was being spoken to you by your master, which is Yahushua. He said, when you see Jerusalem being encompassed by army, let him who is in Judea flee. And this is what has been propelling you. You are running in obedience to what was being spoken to you by your master. And so what happened is that the moment that these people fled and they went into the places which people call to the Caribbean, so many went into the continent of Africa and they decided that they ain't going nowhere again. This is going to be their last bus stop. And so they mingled, they assimilated, they entered, they were being assimilated the same way that you see that Moses entered into Egypt and he was not able to be recognized, differentiated between an Egyptian. And this is what happened to so many who fled during the time of the persecution of the Roman to the children of Jacob, to the children of Israel who fled from those particular places. So they entered into the continent of Africa, having a people who were more welcoming, right? So they entered into their place, and those people did not know what the mission was. They did not know what was going on. They did not understand what was going on. Suddenly they saw congregations of people trooping into their own domain. Bro, I can see this thing as if it's very, very clear spiritually how these things played out. They were trooping into the continent. And the people who were the original owners of the continent were like, what is going on? But these were prophecies which were being spoken about these people, that they are going to go into this particular. They are moving from one direction of. This is why I tell you about the spiritual journey. They were moving from one promised land to the other. They were moving from the Phoenician land of the Canaanites, the land that was being promised to Abraham, into the land that was being promised to the children of Jacob. Jacob established himself in the west coast of Africa. And that is, like I said, I'm telling you that it is going to be the place which everything. You see, the same way that the Muslims have to be able to go to Mecca or Medina in order to attend their pilgrimage. Time is coming when the whole energy is already going to be revolving towards what is going on in the west coast of Africa, which is going to draw so much energy. So what I'm trying to make you understand is that you hear people talk about Jerusalem, the New Jerusalem. New Jerusalem is going to be established there because that is where the children of Jacob fled. They fled there, not because of anything, but because of the instruction which was being given to them. And to establish themselves there. And don't be surprised. I said, do not be surprised when you see the people who are called the Israelis suddenly start shifting their interest into West Africa. You don't know what is going on. You don't understand the magnitude of what is happening. Our brothers were being taken. Some families are 3. Out of those 3, 2 were being taken into captivity, into slave trade, and 1 remained in the west coast of Africa, in different parts of African countries. What they call countries, but we know is a demarcation of different tribes. Right? And those ones who were left in the continents, now being separated with their own brothers who were being taken into the Caribbean, into the North Americas. And a lot of them established those particular places. And it is for their sake that you see that place is still standing. Because of them, that place is going to be blessed. It's going to be baruched. So what am I saying, my brothers and sisters out there? When you go into the scripture, a lot of people don't understand this. The reasons why you see the histories of how the journey of Jacob was being recorded was for this purpose. So that the children of Jacob will be able to really know and understand that these things were being recorded for them to read and not to interpret it in any, but literally to see it. Say that you are going to be in your land of captivity and you are going to now, your eyes is going to open and you are going to know that these things was actually being written for your sake. What does the Bible say in the book of Deuteronomy? A nation which thou knowest not which you do not know, a nation which thou knowest not, is going to come from afar off. What is their emblem? They are going to be as swift as eagle. What is the emblem of the British? What is the emblem of the British government? Is emblem. Their emblem is what? Is eagle. What are for the Romans? It is eagle. What is the emblem of America? Is eagle. What is the emblem of Nigeria? It is super eagle. If you don't know, know it. There is a connection there. As swift as eagle, a nation which thou knowest not is going to come. As the identity of that nation is eagle, and they are going to come after you. And when all this thing is being said and done, you are going to know that you are truly the people of the book. You don't understand what we are talking about? I pray may the Most High, whose name is Yahuwah, be the one to open up your eyes, my brothers and sisters out there, to give you an insight and elevate you into the knowledge of what is really going on. In the name of Yahushua. Shalom, my brothers and sisters out there.